people say to me, Buck, you were just too soon. I said, no, I was right on time. I wouldn't have played against Babe Ruth, you know. I wouldn't have seen Ty Cobb, Walt Johnson, those guys. Yeah, so, man, I was right on time.
Bob, as we sit here in this iconic museum on 18th and Vine, Kansas City, we're gonna hear a lot about the name Buck O'Neil.
Yeah.
Because this is Buck's dream. But a lot of people don't know who Buck O'Neil was and is. So who is Buck O'Neil?
Well, Buck, for me, Buck O'Neil, one of the finest human beings to ever walk the face of this earth, who just happened to be a great baseball player. Came to the Kansas City Monarchs in 1938 as a first baseman, was a great first baseman for the Monarchs through the 1955 season, where he would move into Major League Baseball as a scout. And of course, a lot of people know that as a scout, he signed Ernie Banks to the Chicago Cubs.
When Buck came to Dallas to sign me, you know, I was just so thrilled with that, to have someone like him to show that interest in me for this game of baseball. And in my young life, I was more like an introvert. I didn't care for people that much. I always thought human beings were the only one that could make life complicated and unpleasant. But this man kind of brought that out. And I just, you know, developed a passionate love for this man.
Buck would become a groundbreaking coach, the first African-American coach in the Major Leagues in 1962.
I have nothing to crow about. I'm sad that I'm the first black coach. I wish I had been the 10,000 or something like that.
But then he would really become the voice of the Negro Leagues. As you mentioned, this was his dream, to build a Negro Leagues baseball museum so that the heroes of the Negro Leagues and this incredible story would never be lost. I tell people all the time, you had this very charming, gentle man who was telling these wonderful stories to baseball fans that they had never heard before. And he did it with a twinkle in his eye, and America fell in love with Buck.
Mr. Buck O'Neil. When I think about the Negro League Museum, it's him that kept it alive. He's in front of the chicken coop, which is significant.
Well, he's on the outside looking in, and it's almost poetic because he's the only one of our collection of baseball playing statues that's not in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. We certainly believe that Buck O'Neil deserves to be in the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
You remember, he was up for the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 2006, and he missed by 1 vote. And it set off a tidal wave of anger amongst baseball fans worldwide. But what I remember the most about that day was the incredible courage and fortitude and compassion that Buck had in the face of defeat.
Now, I know you believe. That's why you're here. That's why you did all the things that you did.
There was probably 300 plus people who had gathered here for what we all thought was going to be a Hall of Fame celebration announcement. And people were angry, they were sobbing, and Buck walks up to that podium and, for lack of a better term, delivered one of the most amazing concession speeches that I'd ever heard.
I've been a lot of places and I've done a lot of things that I really like doing. But I tell you what, I'd rather be right here, right now, talking with you than any place I've ever been in my life.
And so instead of us consoling him, he reached out his arms, wrapped them around all of us, and was consoling us.
I want you to sing after me. The greatest thing in all my life is loving you. The greatest thing.
A little over 2 months later, he passed away himself at age 94, a month shy of his 95th birthday. He was one of the most amazing people I ever met. And I tell people oftentimes ask me, Harold, they say, well, what do you remember most about Buck? I say, the thing that struck me the most about Buck was you always felt better leaving Buck than you did when you came to see him. And there are very few people. Now, I get emotional when I think about Buck all the time, because there's not a single day that goes by that I don't think about Buck. And for me, that's what makes this place so special. He's gone, but his spirit is still here, and his legacy is still here. And I think what he did for all of us was he demonstrated that you could get further in this life with love than you could with hate. And to me, that's what is so special about Buck O'Neil and so special about this place.